In the last program, I dwelt upon the fact that Eve was created married to Adam. Thus did God indicate both that Eve was created as a help or helpmate to Adam. He indicated further that Adam's and Eve's role in creation was to be the parents of the human race. In their relationship, God indicated both what the general role of men and women in the world would be and their relationship in marriage. The correctness and precocity of the Scriptures are verified by nature and human experience. I make this point to reiterate the principle that in the contemporary revolt from all traditions and conventions, men and women are flying against both the laws of nature and the explicit laws of God, as they are expressed in the Bible and taught by Holy Church. The lesson is that woman fulfills herself in marriage by accepting her role. Her role in marriage is to be the support, the helper, the consoler, and bed partner of her husband and the mother of his children. Genesis does not say anything about women who do not marry, of whom in those days there seems to have been very few. Christ, however, acknowledged that some individuals are not destined to be married, when he said, "There are eunuchs who were born so from their mother's womb," in the 19th chapter of the Gospel of St. Matthew. We may presume that if there have always been eunuchs, there have always been their female counterparts. My purpose here is to state the obvious, because one seldom hears the obvious truth nowadays, so that when it is spoken, its unfamiliarity renders it novel, but nonetheless incontrovertible. If any woman does not wish to enter into the marital relationship with a man, no law binds her to do so. If she is a God-fearing person, she must give some thought to what God wants of her, why she is on earth. If she spurns marriage because she despises men, she will have to deal with the question of why she exists. If she exists for herself only, if she has no other ambition than to stay unmarried, to suppress her natural yearning to have children, and to be a mother to them in the love and service of God, if she can find happiness in the negativity of being productive of nothing more than money or computer printouts or cash receipts, her life will be wasted, and at the end of it, she will have nothing to show for it besides her success in not having given God the children He wanted. I'm not saying anything here about that life to which a certain number of Catholic women are called, that of holy virginity and the sisterhood, the life of the evangelical councils, as was instituted by our Lord, who speaks of those who have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven, in the same 19th chapter of Matthew I just referred to. We dwell on the subject of women's role in marriage because we are interested in principles and in discovering the nature of things as God has ordained them. As I have said to you before, those who contradict nature will have to suffer nature's revenge, which always suits the punishment to the crime. One of the chief causes of unhappiness in marriage and of divorce is the lack of acceptance by husbands and wives of their proper role in the relationship. It would seem that most people get married for no other reason than that they think they are in love. Where this is the only reason, there is little likelihood that the marriage will last. We are being saturated with the propaganda of revolutionism, which always contradicts nature. It does so because its purpose is destruction, primarily the destruction of the basic unit of society and of the nation, of all nations, the family. Fools imagine that the natural law may be revised or simply denied, that the notion of equality may be applied regarding everything, as if equality is the norm of nature, and as if equality means similarity. Revolutionary feminism presents the following syllogism. 1. All humans are created equal. 2. Women are human. 3. Therefore, anything that men can do, women can do better. If this proposition seems unreasonable to you, It should. But logic does not figure into the conclusions of the unnaturalists. They live and think in terms of catchwords, and the word equality borders on an incantation. As things are now, throughout the world there is a drive to make women the equal of men in all things. It should be understood further that in order to establish equality, those to whom one group is being made equal must be trampled and punished. The truth is that there is no equality in nature, and there is no law of nature or of God which says that human beings should be or can be equal, except before the law. The law of nature regarding husbands and wives has nothing to do with equality. As in marriage, man and wife are complementary to each other. Do you speak in terms of equality when you speak of pitchers and catchers, batters and infielders and outfielders? The notion of equality is out of place in marriage, as equality is out of place throughout the fabric of life. In marriage, the husband is the primary authority figure, while his wife is a secondary one. Talk of equality in marriage is truly subversive because equality is an impossibility, for the obvious reason that men and women are utterly different, and the difference is never so patent as when women try to be both male and female. The idea of equality has no place in any consideration of marriage and the family, because the essential issue is the proper apportionment of roles and duties and responsibilities. As in any society, there can be no family harmony without the wise use of authority. The family is not a democracy. It is not an equal partnership. It is a societal unit in which the husband is the dominant person. The wife's role is that of his helpmate, the mother of the children, and the queen of the home. This last term reminds us that for the mother to be away from the home is a departure from the natural order of things. This even if there are no children. Nowadays there is a great objection to the saying that the woman's place is in the home, the suggestion being that it is unfair and even cruel for her to be expected to be there, as if having to be at home is a kind of confinement to her, as if saying that her place is at home suggests that she cannot cope elsewhere. All this is the sloganeering of the revolution. It is also a cover for a confiscatory regime wherein a man can hardly support his wife and children. It is considered to be advantageous if one can run one's business out of one's home, if one can do one's banking or order one's plane tickets from one's home. The truth is, woman's place is the home, because it is the wife's and mother's base of operations. It is her proper place because it is her duty and prerogative to run the home, to make the place a home by keeping it clean and livable and doing those countless things which give it life and ambience. In ridiculing and rejecting the saying, the troublemakers are suggesting that there is something happening elsewhere that is more exciting, more entertaining, more fun. As if we are here on earth for excitement, entertainment, and fun. As if such were the ultimate ends of human life. In the language of the revolution, the workplace is an ego thing, and making money is exciting and fun. And being out of the home is freedom, and having one's own income is the key to independence. The truth of the matter is that life is not for fun. It is a service and a discipline. When a man and a woman get married, they give their lives a particular form and structure. There is no freedom for either man or woman in marriage. The freedom is in their relationship with each other, which we would hope is true love. By marrying each other, the two gain the right to have each other's exclusive company, the right to a physical relationship, and the right to claim their children as their very own. Marriage is for children primarily. Children are the purpose and fruit of their love and physical relationship. They must marry for the sake of children, knowing that for the privilege and blessing of children, they must pay a very high price, because to be the parents of children is a greater thing than being a doctor, a lawyer, or the president of a company, or a nation, or a millionaire. Those who presume to think for the masses, however, promote the fiction that for both men and women, being in the marketplace or in a profession is the main thing for both of them, and children are an option, both as to whether and how many. And as married people are free to decide these things, they are free to decide everything else about the children, including how much time and attention they will give them. If a man has the right to be away from the home and the children for his work's sake, then, since she is his equal, the mother has the right to be away similarly, making money, and everyone knows that making money is living. Therefore, the both of them have a right to make whatever arrangements work for the care and feeding of their troublesome children, who really do interfere with our quest for fun and excitement and money. That is why we must have abortion and daycare centers and clubs and sports programs, all kinds of activities which will take the kids, as they call them, never children, off our hands, store them somewhere, anywhere, until we can squeeze them into our busy schedule. What we wish is that children were dolls or pets, which we could play with when we have time for them, and put on a shelf or in a cage otherwise. Nature and tradition and Catholic discipline are in agreement as to what marriage means and what it requires. A man and a woman have a certain amount of freedom if they are single. They are not free to disregard the 10 Commandments, including the 6th, thou shalt not commit adultery. If they remain single, the law forbids them under pain of serious sin to seek sexual pleasure of any kind whatsoever. As St. Paul wrote, it is better to marry than to be burnt, in the first letter to the Corinthians. To be burnt by concupiscence, that is. Once a man and a woman marry, they willingly give up much of their freedom. The loss of freedom is in the marriage contract. Once married, they are bound to each other, to live with each other, to share bed and board, as the old expression goes. He is bound to support her, to protect her, to provide for her in sickness and in health, to help her save her soul, to pray for her and with her. Before he married, he should have been warned that once married, he would have to consider his wife first among all the creatures of his concern. All this remains so even if he finds that she is a completely different woman from the person he courted. What God has joined together, let not man put asunder. When a woman marries, she willingly relinquishes her freedom and a career. Once married, her life is bound to her husband's. She must go where he goes. She must accommodate her dreams to the reality of his life and fortune. She has to be content to live the life which he can provide her, rich or poor. And she must accept his decisions on all the major concerns of their lives. Both the husband and the wife must understand that in the natural scheme of things, there is no such thing as separation and or divorce. Both the man and the woman are strictly bound to do all those things necessary to remain together, to live together faithfully and lovingly. If they are wise, they will pray every day before and after their marriage to have the grace to fulfill their vows to God and to each other. They should not expect to be able to achieve marital joy without constant, humble prayer. Expectably, there will be many and various difficulties, disagreements, misunderstandings, disappointments, accidents, sickness, financial setbacks, and the personal faults and foibles of both of them. Especially in their early years, they may find that it is difficult to get along, to reach agreements, to compromise, to do without, to apologize, and for her to obey. Because the temptation to give up on the effort may never be distant, the law sounds its sovereignty. Let's not man put asunder. In the normal scheme of things, there are going to be children. The law forbids, under the pain of damnation, any action which prevents conception except abstinence, no matter what the priests or ministers or doctors say. This is the natural law structured into the marital relationship. Once there is a child, the life of the man and woman receives even more particular definition. Both father and mother are bound to rear the child and the children, as many as God may give them, according to God's law. Being parents will restrict their freedom much further, although for normal people, their family life is a satisfactory compensation. Gladly or otherwise, once there is a child, the woman is all the more bound to be at home, to see after the child in all those ways that she is innately so adept and ingenious. If till then she worked, she has no right to do so now, for her place is at home. Very obviously, all that I am saying is contradicted by contemporary mores, as they are prescribed and recommended by the television networks, the courts, Hollywood, and the erstwhile Christian churches. They all proclaim how humane they are and protest at how unfeeling and astringent the old laws were, which bound a man and a woman together for life, all difficulties to the contrary notwithstanding. They present divorce as a solution to an impossible situation, as a remedy for the mistakes of immaturity and poor judgment. On the contrary, to the extent that the idea of divorce in any form is allowed in the marital lexicon, the human race will be torn asunder by the sin of the violation of the marriage vows. The primary approach to marital difficulty is the very opposite of divorce. It is prayer, the true religion, and virtuous living. Anything else is not a solution. Sin is never a solution to human problems. Divorce means arguments and fighting and broken hearts and broken vows. It means hatred where there was once love. It means court actions and court settlements, lawyers and property settlements, and custody battles, the horrible arrangements whereby the child or children are passed back and forth between mother and father. Moderns protest how humane and necessary divorce is, as opposed to an unhappy marriage. Because man is a fallen creature, it is impossible that all marriages be happy. But to the degree that there are divorces, more marriages will be unhappy, and people will not rebuild their unions with the help of God. To the extent that there are divorces, more marriages will be irremediably unhappy, and there will be fewer children to love and to stay together for. And there will be more children who will marvel at the selfishness and hypocrisy of their parents, who consider that custody is the most humane arrangement we can think of, things being as they are.